What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing you Ravens content every single day. If you want to see that daily Ravens content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and turn the notification bell on if you want to get notified every single time I upload a brand new video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about, I don't think it's that controversial of a topic, but as always, these opinions are my own. So if you disagree, absolutely okay. Let me know in the comments if you disagree. Let's just be civilized about it. We can have, legitimate discussions rather than, screaming at each other in all caps and things like that. I try and keep it civilized as much as possible. But I do want to wish, happy Father's Day to any fathers that are watching out there. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Justice Hill. What does he mean to the Ravens? And I think so many people want Justice Hill to get the running back snaps, and I will definitely be talking about that. But Justice Hill is very valuable to the Ravens. He's probably the most overlooked Ravens player on the roster, because you see Justice Hill, running back 3, technically running back 4 last year because we had Mark Ingram. And people are like, oh, must be a borderline player. And as a running back, he is a borderline player. But as a special teams player, he is elite. He is absolutely essential to this Ravens team. The Ravens will have Justice Hill on the roster. He will not be talked about. He will not have highlight videos. He will not have, anything like that other than he plays winning football and he helps the Ravens to win. John Harbaugh is a special teams coach. He is going to make sure that his special teams are good. Look at what he's done in his career, who he's had at the special teams positions. Oh, Justin Tucker. Oh, well, he's pretty good, I would say. The most accurate kicker in history. Oh, Sam Cook. He's a pretty good punter, I would say. We had Morgan Cox for a very, very long time. We'll see what happens without him this year, but very, very good long snapper. And then, of course, in terms of the return game, he's always trying to get returners that are going to be able to succeed. Obviously used to have Jacoby Jones. He tried to bring in Devin Hester. He's tried a ton of people out at punt returner, kick returner, gave Duvernay the chance, gave Prochet the chance, gave Justice Hill a chance a while back, gave Chris Moore a chance. But overall, he gives guys chances on special teams and he wants them to succeed. In terms of the gunner spot, which is where Justice Hill plays, he's absolutely essential. And what's another guy? There's a perfect example of another player on the Ravens that was completely overlooked that the Ravens lost this year. They will not have him, and that is Chris Moore. Or maybe we lost him last year. I'm pretty sure we lost him this year. And that is Chris Moore. Chris Moore was always a borderline, oh, will he make the team guy? And it was always like, yeah, Chris Moore is going to make the team. Yes, Quincy Adebayo and Tim White may have had better preseasons, and they may have had better training camps at the wide receiver spot. But come on, at wide receiver 6, at running back 3 or 4, you're not going to be getting on the field on offense very much. You're going to be on the field for special teams. And Chris Moore came in and did his job in the special teams. He was a monster. I think he had multiple punt blocks. I know he had multiple touchdowns on after punt blocks and things like that. He was running all over the field on punts. Very, very good player for the Ravens on special teams. And that's the exact role I kind of see Justice Hill playing, is the Chris Moore spot. I never really considered Chris Moore a player that the Ravens, as a wide receiver. I just didn't think of him that way. I thought of him as a special teams player. And that's the same way I think about Justice Hill. He is a guy that will be on the team to play special teams, and he really shouldn't be out there on the offensive side of the ball. However, that is the more controversial part. I think all Ravens fans, or most Ravens fans, would agree that Justice Hill is a very, very good special teams player. He gets after the football. He makes big hits. He's very quick, and he's able to get down to the punt very quickly, which obviously helps so that, you reduce the amount of returns that other teams have, especially when you have a guy like Sam Cook punting the ball. It's just a great duo to have, having a great gunner and a great punter on the same team. But I think a lot of people want to see him, as a running back. And I've talked about how I want the Ravens to bring in a running back. Just because I want somebody to bring in a running back does not mean I want Justice Hill gone. If we bring in a running back, if we sign, I would love for Nate McCrary to get a shot on the team. If we sign a guy, bring in a guy, put a guy from the practice squad or, undrafted player on the roster, we're going to keep 4 running backs. We are not going to cut Justice Hill. So when I'm saying that, it's not saying Justice Hill shouldn't be on the team. It's saying that Justice Hill shouldn't be rushing the football. And but let's talk. That's obviously much more controversial. If you have a different opinion, you think that he should get more opportunities, absolutely let me know, because he hasn't had that many opportunities. If you don't know Justice Hill, he was a fourth round pick out of Oklahoma State in the 2019 draft, and I think so many of us were so excited for him because we saw the kind of highlights, we saw the film, and he's so quick, he's so elusive, he can catch the football. He's probably the best pass catching running back on the Ravens. However, in the NFL, I like to use this analogy a lot, but he plays like a chicken with his head cut off. Yes, he's very, very fast, but he doesn't have any patience. He doesn't wait to see the hole. He doesn't, sometimes he makes the bad read. Now, if he does, sometimes he does get the hole right, and he's able to make a big play. He's had some, relatively long touchdown runs in his career. I think he has had like a 19-yard run. He's had an 18-yard run. Like he's had a couple of plays where you see burst. However, it's wildly inconsistent. So when he's running the football, it helps that, he is one of those guys where like him playing with Lamar absolutely helps, because and Greg Roman, like that scheme will allow him to at least sometimes get through the hole and make a big run. However, I'm saying he is yet to show that he can be a legitimate threat out of the backfield for the Ravens. If he gets the opportunity, he does have the ability to potentially show that in the future. However, as of right now, Justice Hill has not shown the ability to be a weapon in the offensive part of the field. Special teams, yes, he's a weapon. But let's talk about his stats. So he definitely played a lot more in 2019, which makes sense. We had Gus Edwards. We didn't have J.K. Dobbins. We had Mark Ingram, we had Gus Edwards, and then we had Justice Hill. That was our running back core. And, Mark Ingram is typically in and out with injuries every once in a while. Gus Edwards can't tote the rock every single rush of every single game. So Justice Hill was able to come in. And statistically, in 2019, he had 58 rushes for 225 yards, which is about 3.9 yards per attempt. And he had 2 touchdowns. He also had, 8 receptions for 70 yards and 3.6 yards per carry, 3.9 yards per carry. For the Ravens is bad. If you're playing with Lamar Jackson, you need to be averaging 4.5. You should be averaging at least 5 yards per carry. That's what you should be averaging. Now, I will say Justice Hill last year averaged 5 yards per carry, but he only ran the ball 12 times. So that sample size is very, very small. So, you could technically argue there was an improvement. However, the sample size, in my opinion, is just not statistically significant in order to be able to say that there was drastic improvement in his game, because it was just like, overall, he never rushed for a touchdown. He had 2 rushes for first downs. And that was pretty much it. He didn't drop a pass, 5 targets for 5 receptions. But overall, when you have a running back like that, he's supposed to be the pass catching running back. I think people would agree with that. He's not a threat in the run game, which means that when you bring in Justice Hill, it becomes much more predictable that you're going to pass the football. And that's something that the Ravens are trying to get away from. Remember, we don't want to be predictable. We want to have, obviously the Ravens have talked about wanting to get Gus and JK more involved in the pass game. If Gus and JK are in the backfield, especially JK, even though you could argue Gus is a better pass catcher or has shown he's a better pass catcher, I think teams don't see Gus as a legitimate pass catcher out of the backfield, but they do see JK that way. If JK's in the backfield, it could be a run or a pass. It's 50-50. Like, you got to guess on whether or not it is. Justice Hill's in the backfield is like 85% of the time, this is going to be a pass, and it's most likely he's coming in on 3rd and 10. That just doesn't help with the predictability aspect of Greg Roman's system. If he's able to improve, obviously he could become that weapon. However, I don't think he's important to the Ravens on the offensive side of the ball. That doesn't mean he's not important. I think he's incredibly valuable to this team. I think the entire coaching staff would praise Justice Hill if, reporters ever actually asked about Justice Hill. He's not a guy that people are keying in on, but he's a guy that they would absolutely hype up if you asked any of them. If you ask John Harbaugh, oh yeah, what are your thoughts on Justice Hill this year? He's going to be ecstatic. He's going to be like, oh, I love Justice. He puts in so much work, and he's right about that. Justice Hill works hard and he does his role. And his role is not to be a running back. His role is to be a special teams player. And he plays that role as one of the best in the NFL. And that's okay. A fourth-round pick that is a legitimate contributor to your team, that's great. I don't think that this is disappointing for Justice Hill to be a special teams player. Now, I hope he could turn into a great running back. I really do. If he's given that opportunity, I hope it succeeds. However, from what we've seen so far, I don't see him as a running back. I just wanted to make this video because every once in a while, I bring up those videos of like, oh, the Ravens brought in this guy, or they brought in this guy, or I want this guy to make the team, and he's a running back. And people are like, well, what about Justice Hill? Here's my thoughts on Justice Hill. He's not leaving the Ravens, but he's not going to be playing much running back, in my opinion. But thank you, everybody, for watching. Subscribe for daily Ravens content. If you have a different opinion on Justice Hill, please let me know. I love to hear the different opinions. But thank you, everybody, for watching. And I will see all of you again tomorrow with the first segment of the Trez the Bank podcast.